Hello, welcome to this first Christmas video. I'm going to be making a series of 4 going out every Wednesday in December. The last one will be on Christmas Eve. I thought I'd do extra ones because I wanted to look at some specific things around Christmas, especially to point out that we don't have to have a really consumerist Christmas. We don't have to go into debt and be paying Christmas off in February. We can have a lovely celebratory time without spending too much money. And what I hope you'll get from the series is that it's a time to rest, a time to do things that perhaps you don't have time to do normally, a time to maybe go more analog and get off your laptop, get off online shopping, and do other things that are quite fulfilling and peaceful so that you have a nice Christmas holiday. Now, I appreciate that some people have to work over Christmas and New Year, and if so, my recommendation to them would be to at least carve out some time for yourself just to quieten down, to rest and relax and do something that you enjoy. So this is the first video, and today I thought I would talk about tips for not going over budget for Christmas, for not spending too much money and not getting carried away in the hype and the scarcity and the advertising that you see on the television and on all the online advertising. So my first tip, a frugal Christmas, is set a budget and stick to it. Now, this can be quite hard. I would suggest that in January you start a sinking fund for Christmas and the holidays, and every month you put a certain amount of money away so that by the time Christmas 2026 comes, you have all the money that you are going to spend, that you've budgeted for, in an account ready to go. Hopefully you've done that this year. If not, set a budget now, be realistic, don't go into debt. Please don't go into debt for Christmas. You can have such a lovely time without spending too much money. My next tip would be to set expectations with family and friends about hosting, about contributing to Christmas food and drink, about present giving. Do you need to give presents to everybody, neighbours, teachers, everybody that you can think of? If you feel that you'd like to give presents to those people, go ahead, but stick to your budget. And within your family, maybe you have a word with more extended family and say, you know, this year let's not swap gifts, and just be a bit honest about it. You know, if you can't afford it, don't do it, and don't feel ashamed of that. Don't be pressurised into spending money you don't have just because other people might be offended. Quite a few years ago, I said to my sister, look, I can't afford to buy a lot of presents, so let's not exchange presents from now on, basically. And she was quite happy to go along with that. She wasn't upset, and it's worked fine. I don't see my sister, so it seems silly to, you know, post presents when you don't see each other during the year. So yeah, set expectations. Everybody knows where they stand then, and you know what you need to buy, what you need to contribute, what you need to plan for. In terms of decorations, don't feel that you need to have a new set of decorations every year. You don't. It's very wasteful and it's very expensive. I think some of the nicest decorations I've ever had are things that have been chosen or given to me that have special reminders about the people that I was with at the time and a certain period in my life. When I was little, we had the same decorations every year, and it was almost comforting that the same things came out of the boxes and you put them on the tree, and that made it feel like Christmas. I know that on TikTok and also YouTube, people have mentioned it, is this year's fad for Ralph Lauren Christmas, which, you know, in my mind is just ridiculous, but I don't know, each to their own. Basically, green and red tartan looking from what I can see. But green and red have always been Christmas colours, haven't they? You know, we've always associated those with Christmas. So, I don't know, there's not really anything new under the sun, is there? So don't feel obliged. Maybe you'd like to buy one new Christmas decoration per year and that becomes your family tradition. Maybe you'd like to make your own Christmas decorations. It's quite nice if you use natural sort of foliage. You can make dried orange slices and cinnamon sticks. You can go out for a walk in the woods and collect a little bit of holly, or you might have a holly bush in your garden. That could be quite nice. Put it in a vase with a few twigs, and you can also put a few baubles on the twigs if you want to. And that's a very cheap way of decorating, but it's nice because it's natural. It's not full of plastic. Don't go taking more than you need though. Only take a small amount and don't take it from other people's gardens unless you have permission. Use charity shops or thrift shops. A lot of wrapping paper is for sale in charity shops. Gift bags, I've noticed in my charity shops, there's a lot of brand new gift bags that have never been used and they're on sale for 50p, which is a lot cheaper than you can buy them in the shops. And they can be reused year after year. We don't want to waste, do we? You know, there's enough stuff going to landfill. Let's not waste wrapping. You can also reuse wrapping the following year if it's been, you know, taken off the present carefully. You can reuse Christmas cards, cut out the main picture and use it as a gift card. There's all sorts of ways that you can cut back on the price of wrapping and Christmas cards. You can also get lots of very reasonably priced Christmas decorations in charity shops and stocking filler gifts. If you take a look around a charity shop, then you'll find lots of brand new products that people have donated that still have the labels on. I mean, it's amazing what people get rid of, and they make perfect gifts. If you don't want to give main gifts from charity shops because you're worried that people will frown upon it or think that you're cheap, buy the little stocking stuffers, buy decorations and wrappings, and buy something else. I think most people would be quite happy with something that they really liked, irrespective of where it came from. But you know the people you're buying for, you judge that for yourself. Another idea tip for Christmas is to make homemade gifts. Now we're about a month away from Christmas, so you've still got time to make some gifts if you'd like to. I don't know whether you do crafts or paintings. You can make your own Christmas cards. You could make scarves, hats, that sort of thing for people if you're a knitter or a crocheter. You could decorate your own Christmas paper. If you buy lots of things online and you get all that packaging within each box that arrives, you can use that packaging, the brown paper and any tissue paper, whatever's put in there for protecting the parcel that you bought. You can use that to wrap presents in, or to, you know, bulk out a box that a gift's in if it's too big for the gift. So don't waste anything. You know, there's plenty there we can save up over the year. Bits of string that come on things, bits of ribbon that are on presents. Put them all away in a bag, keep them for next Christmas. And it doesn't cost you anything, but it can make a parcel, a present, look very special for no more money. In terms of present buying, I think unless you know what people already own, it's better to ask them what they'd like as a present and maybe give you a few options, you know, so that you can pick one that's within your budget. There's no point getting people things that A, they don't want, and B, that they're just going to chuck in the back of a cupboard and eventually either send to landfill or give to charity shops. It's just a waste of your money and it's a waste of the product. So ask people what they'd like. If they have hobbies, that's a good place to start. Ask them if there's anything they need to keep going with their hobby or to update the equipment they've got. And that way they get something that they can use throughout the year. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. Another idea for presents is consumables. I think most adults in this day and age have far too many things. A lot of us are thinking about decluttering. Especially as we get older, we don't want to leave all that tat for our children and relatives to sort out when we've dropped off our perch. So we don't need necessarily to add to, people's possessions unless they've specifically asked for it. So consumable presents are really good. So chocolate, wine if they drink alcohol. Maybe you could make some Christmas cookies or brownies or something that people like as a treat. And because it's homemade, it's special, you've thought about them, you've package it nicely. And to make it a little bit more special, maybe you could write down the recipe you've used and the instructions in a Christmas card or on a nice piece of paper, and you can put that in with the gifts so that if they enjoy eating what you've made them, they can make it themselves through the year. And maybe that will become a new tradition for them for the following Christmas, which should be a lovely idea, wouldn't it? Write a list of what you're going to buy and stick to it. There's this horrible feeling around Christmas that, oh my goodness, what I bought doesn't look like very much. And it's usually the really expensive gifts that don't look like much, they're quite small, possibly if it's jewellery or, anything like that. They cost a lot of money. So don't get sucked up into that, oh, it doesn't look like much trap. You've decided what you're going to buy for that person. So buy that or buy those things, and then don't add to it. How you feel about the person and love are not measured by the number of gifts. Another idea they like cooking is to buy perhaps a special bottle of olive oil or some spices that they'll use. There's lots of options, isn't there? But the good thing about consumables is, they don't take up space. They can be used during the year. And I like presents that you can keep using. They're not just for the Christmas period. You can, if it's books, you can read them during the year. If it's hobby things, you can sort of use them during the year. Another idea for a non-item gift would be a charity donation. So maybe you'd like to adopt an elephant or give to a charity that's very meaningful to you and that person. That way you are, you're contributing to a charity. But if it's something that the person you're giving it to is passionate about, then they will be really pleased that you've thought of them and what they're interested in, but also that you can help the charity. So that's just a few ideas for Christmas. Keep it realistic, set your expectations ahead of time, stick to your budget, and enjoy the non-consumer parts of Christmas, the sort of being with people, the pretty lights, maybe some nice food, having time just to relax. I think that's really important, especially at the moment. Everybody's so busy, and in the run-up to Christmas, many people are just rushing around and they're exhausted by Christmas. So take what you want from Christmas. If you don't celebrate it, that's fine. You don't have to be involved with it. But if you do want to celebrate, don't go into debt. Please keep it manageable. Okay, I will see you on the second Christmas video next Wednesday. Bye for now.